The Jefferson Parish school system is one of the largest and most innovative in the state of Louisiana. The administration, school board, teachers, and staff all share a deep devotion to providing the best possible education. The Jefferson Parish school system also takes great pride in their facilities and understands the importance of a healthy, comfortable learning environment. Although they are recognized for their efforts to date, they are facing a problem plaguing school systems across the country: the ongoing costly deterioration of the physical plant equipment that controls the school's environment. A United States General Accounting Office study concluded that nationwide, inadequate heating, ventilating, and air conditioning affects over 28,000 schools and more than 15 million students.
I think the conditions under which you learn, the conditions of the classroom, if it's too warm or if it's too cold, or if something isn't right, that distracts the attention of the students from the teacher.
I'm the representative for the Jefferson Federation of Teachers, the teachers union here at school. And because I'm the representative, I handle complaints. And one of the top complaints has been the air conditioning of our school. So in the past, we used to have to really bundle up a lot.
We did have major problems in the past. I mean, just really big problems.
To keep their covenant with the community, the individual school boards must spend more and more precious resources repairing these systems, usually just in time to repair them again. It's a vicious cycle of broken units and broken promises.
The school was just in chaos, you know, with the temperatures. It's been a serious problem here.
A lot of our classrooms here don't even have windows. We call them sweat boxes.
The problem that we've had in the past was that we've never had anyone to take the responsibility for making something work, and then if it didn't work, we'd have to pay them over and over again for service calls.
As the JFT rep, I would tell people, you know, I don't believe that this is an impossible situation here.
Eventually, the escalation of tiny problems makes the situation seem so hopeless, the entire system is replaced, only to have the repair problems begin all over again with the new system.
Administrators are under a lot of pressure now to improve test scores, to improve the quality of education. And all of these other things, all of these physical plant problems and all of these other problems just take away the time that a principal or assistant principal or a plant manager has to deal with.
Over the years, the Jefferson Parish School Board and the administration have been fairly successful in providing a clean, safe, and comfortable environment for students and teachers, but needlessly, at a greater cost every year. This innovative school system needed to do more: improve operation, reduce ongoing expenses, diminish emergency capital expenses, and free the board and administration to handle other issues.
We would pay a contractor to come out and to fix a problem. Maybe a month later, we'd have to come out and fix another problem or the same problem. And every time they came out, we would have to pay them more money for perhaps the same service. And we never knew if we were getting new service or a repair for the same thing we've paid for before.
They began to analyze their expenditures by looking at the 10 largest schools in the system. These schools serve an average of 2,000 students each and utilize more than 5,000 tons of cooling. The school system was spending approximately $1,200,000 per year maintaining, repairing, and replacing these air conditioning systems. Deferred maintenance was growing and reliability was becoming an issue. Some non-instructional areas had no working heating and air conditioning for years. Maintenance staffs were overwhelmed. Putting out fires became the only routine maintenance strategy.
In past years, it might be any company, it might be a number of companies. You never had one specific person to deal with.
Although there was an aggressive capital replacement program underway, only a small portion of major system components were being changed out. Over the years, millions of dollars were spent to essentially take one step forward, 2 steps back. Chillers had been taken apart, then abandoned. Large refrigeration compressors had also failed, but had not been replaced. Dirty black water filled distribution systems that had never been flushed out or chemically treated. Strainers were clogged. Hundreds upon hundreds of room air conditioning units were never treated or flushed properly. Hundreds of coils became fouled, but could not be isolated for service because the proper valves were never installed. Air handling unit coils were so packed with dirt, air could not move through them. Entire control systems had been abandoned. Air compressors, air dryers, and pneumatic controls were out of service and abandoned. Chilled water valves were blocked open. Failed components took electric and pneumatic controls and automation systems out of service in every school. Field issues had to be resolved before control systems could be repaired. Chilled water and condenser water pump motors had failed in a number of the schools. Costly backup systems were out of service or in dire need of repair. If these backup pumps had failed, the schools would have been without cooling. Cooling towers, neglected for years, were to the point of being condemned. Heavy shafts and fans weighing hundreds of pounds were supported by rotten beams. Bearings were hanging on with a single loose bolt. Every time one particular water tower sump was shut down, it drenched 280-volt electric pumps with hundreds of gallons of water. Some pump seals and valve packings had makeshift tin covers to stop water from spraying on high-voltage equipment. Bearing seals throughout the system had ruptured and were losing lubricant. In one school, there was no easy way to control the central plant. Complex components had failed or needed repair and calibration. Although hundreds of thousands of dollars had been invested in equipment, teachers and students remained uncomfortable simply because operators could not turn equipment on and off. Problems with controlling the environment were very common throughout these 10 schools. Systems ran wild, and in many areas, the temperature ranged from very hot to very cold. Rust and neglect were taking their toll. Millions were spent on entirely new systems instead of simply replacing failed components, implementing proactive repairs, and professionally managing preventative maintenance. That was the challenge. Clearly, a different approach was needed to overcome the problems. A different attitude was needed towards the physical plants. A new strategy was investigated. Stop the aging process. Refurbish the existing units. Change the practice of total system replacement, and begin a program of intensive, professionally managed preventative maintenance. The strategy was sound, but its implementation was beyond the capabilities of the school system. The Jefferson Parish School Board and the administration faced a problem seen by school systems across the nation. Trying to stay on top by maintaining and managing complex machinery, utilizing a slow, deliberate, paperwork-laden procurement process that would create hundreds of small, complex repair projects, a contractual nightmare to manage, commission, and coordinate, with no one ultimately accountable if a system needed more repairs to make it function. Is it any wonder that school districts resigned themselves to simply replacing entire systems, throwing out the good with the bad? After years of evaluation, and to attempt to make better use of capital resources, the board made a very innovative and decisive move. Hand over the responsibility of the complex heating, ventilating, and air conditioning systems, including all central systems, to an outside partner, relieving themselves of engineering, procurement, construction, commissioning, repair, and maintenance responsibilities. If successful, the board would be proving that high-quality environmental support service was possible within the existing budget, eliminating deferred maintenance, and proving that a school system could get out of the air conditioning business. To meet that challenge and begin a partnership with the Jefferson Parish School Board, one company offered its help, Star Service. The board was asking for something that, to their knowledge, had never been done in a public school before.
I've never heard of Star Services before they contacted the school system with their plan on how they would improve the quality of our HVAC.
Star Service had many successful programs in place in private schools, industrial plants, commercial buildings, healthcare, hotels, and a variety of other industries. For Jefferson Parish, Star would assume 100% accountability for the maintenance, repair, and if necessary, the capital replacement of the environmental systems in the schools at a yearly fixed cost. Clearly, this was no ordinary partnership.
This program, as I understand it, will allow us to have fixed costs that we can budget for over an extended period of time. We absolutely know what our air conditioning costs will be for these facilities for a set period of time. Before, we can only guesstimate, hope, wish, or whatever what our air conditioning costs will be up until that time. One chiller system can go down, and that's $500,000 at the snap of your fingers. Should that happen in this situation, we're still paying a fixed fee for a set amount of time. If anything, I think it gives us an advantage to budget for what our costs will be over an extended period of time. And I think that this is one of the most innovative things that this school system has done in a long time. I literally think that this is one of the best maintenance contracts, if you would, that this school system has ever entered into in the 13 years that I've sat here.
First time I met the people from Star was the first day they were here inspecting the school. It's kind of a novel idea to go to an outside source to service our air conditioning units. I've been here for 22 years, and finally, you know, to see an outside maintenance contractor coming in meant things might be a little bit better for us.
Our expertise is not in HVAC, and we can rely on an outside source to come in and take over those duties for us.
The solution bore no resemblance to outsourcing, property management programs, or energy performance contracts of the past. Energy savings were not used to target or correct a limited number of specific problems. With Star Service's guaranteed contract, all HVAC problems were to be resolved. Simply put, Star Service would provide a comfortable environment throughout all 10 schools and at a significant savings of more than $200,000 per year. In the first 2 months of the contract alone, the school board canceled over $400,000 in construction-related work that no longer needed to be performed.
I took a good look at it before I cast my vote in favor of it. And I thought, from everything that I was being told and everything that I was inquired from other people, that this was a plan that had a great amount of merit, a plan that was probably going to work, and now that we've experienced it over the past 6 months or so, it's proven itself that it is working, and working very, very well.
It really, once I heard it, didn't take me long at all to understand what the basic concept is of the program.
I told my board member that I feel that the concept that they took to have Star handle all the problems for one, so that we deal with one person, not 5 or 6 or 7 or even more different businesses, was the best concept they had come up with.
The plan's brilliance is in its simplicity. Star Service is 100% accountable.
They will handle 100% of all of our air conditioning and heating needs.
If a school is uncomfortable, they call Star Service, with no need to understand or give them any technical details.
To get the chiller going, or go in the boiler room to get the boilers going, or whatever. I don't understand all that technical lingo.
I really love the idea that their job is to keep our system going, to prevent problems.
According to the rules of the plan, there's great incentive for Star Service to perform, because the financial reward for Star Service is there only if they prevent major repairs and emergency breakdowns.
The single most important thing is the accountability that they bring to us. It's to their benefit to make us happy, and they'll continue a very long relationship between the school system and Star Service.
100% accountability means systems must be maintained in excellent condition. Typically, large equipment items do not fail without a reason, but inexpensive parts that fail can take major pieces of equipment with them, and when systems fail, they are expensive to repair. Proactive repairs of components are performed by Star before they cause major equipment failure. Keeping these major components from failing saves Star Service time and money. If problems did occur, a response was guaranteed 24 hours a day, year-round, without additional charge.
Even on weekends when we've called them, if my plant manager has called me on weekend or whatever, usually I would have to say within 30 minutes they're out here. And that's very important, because there were many times we used to wait days.
Having been an administrator in the schools, I think that response time, I think, is very important too, and that's supposed to be guaranteed under this contract. So that none of the kids or teachers or anyone has to work in hot temperatures or what have you, or just the opposite.
Knowing that I could pick up the phone and call a service that's going to be there 24/7 makes me really feel comfortable.
The day Jefferson Parish Schools awarded the contract, Star Service was ready to assume 100% responsibility. Star Service attacked the problems head-on and began by performing a detailed survey of all the school equipment, cataloging equipment by location, model, and serial number, and documenting the general condition. They interviewed principals, teachers, and plant engineers to determine operational needs. Star's team of engineers, technicians, and project managers developed strategies to rehabilitate existing systems. Teams of trained technicians, backed by experienced supervisors, engineers, and management, developed a plan to bring every environmental system back to like-new condition. Then each piece of equipment was individually slated for an intensive program of quarterly preventative maintenance. Each principal was briefed on Star Service's responsibilities and the reason for the new partnership. A custom project schedule was developed to resolve all of the school's heating and air conditioning problems. The project schedule was finalized with the help of the principal and plant managers, taking into consideration classroom schedules.
Star was very helpful in working along with me in coming up with a solution that was not as disruptive for the students and the teacher. Star has been very accommodating and understanding that this is a school in which students are learning, and for its distractions, they knew that first and foremost that the students came first.
Now, we haven't had to leave the room for any reason. When the maintenance is being done, they usually do it at our off period or at lunchtime, so the students are not involved. They seem to be working with the school schedule. I can honestly say the inconvenience has been minimal.
Since Star has taken over servicing our air conditioning system and heating system, there has not been a time that I can remember that the students had to be moved from class because of failure in the system.
All the work that Star has performed for our school has been around our schedule. If they had to interrupt things, they came after school. They have never interrupted any classes that I know of.
There were a number of issues that required immediate attention. Cooling towers had to be refurbished and recommissioned. Years of sludge and mold growth were removed, and a chemical treatment was added to condition the water. Pumps had to be rebuilt and valves repaired to allow a backup source of chilled water for the building. Chiller tube barrels needed to be opened and cleaned. Controls, safeties, and interlocks had to be checked, repaired, and calibrated for proper operation. Sophisticated oil analysis was performed to bring attention to any potential internal problem. Eddy current tests that helped determine the integrity of tube bundles were performed. All machines were repaired and adjusted to operate at proper temperature, pressure, and fluid levels. Strainers were backwashed, and distribution systems were flushed out and chemically treated. In some cases, entire systems had to be replaced. With temporary backup chillers in place, an old chiller was demolished and removed. Building modifications were made, and a new 300-ton chiller was installed, commissioned, and brought online. Other major equipment replacements include a 100-ton compressor at John Adams that's been replaced and commissioned. Once all the central plants were at 100% operational capacity, Star's team of technicians started analyzing the school's distribution systems, identifying and resolving issues that affect teacher-student comfort on a room-by-room basis.
When I walk down the hall with a Star person, teachers will come out and catch them and say, "You got a minute? Listen to my problem," and they'll go in and listen to their problem.
They asked me about my room. They actually did. They wanted to know, was I having any particular problems? Was my room too cold? Was my room too hot? And so we kind of joust back and forth with that, and I explained to them that my room has been much better this year than it's been in the past 4 or 5 years. So I was quite impressed.
I really think that Star Service has the students' best interests at hand.
One thing I found that was very professional about the Star people is when they first came in, we did a survey of each of the rooms to find out the exact temperature and if the teachers were comfortable or not comfortable. And then halfway through their work, we did another survey to find out if the conditions were improved.
Entire systems in every school were brought back to like-new condition. From chillers in the central plant to thermostats in the classroom, all system components were evaluated, diagnosed, and repaired.
To see that they're constantly upgrading and constantly checking and doing the things, that's pretty interesting.
They devoted a lot of time here at Higgins, getting the air conditioning units up and at it. They just came right on in and did their job.
We're able to come into an environment where everything is comfortable, the condition of the classroom is nice, it's friendly, it's warm, atmospherically it's perfect.
Now the most important step in the program can be implemented: intensive quarterly preventative maintenance and the proactive repair of questionable components. Star Service took control of the systems, and they attack potential problems before they affect the users.
Star has been very cooperative in making sure that they're pleasing the client, and I must say they've been doing that.
They're interested in the teachers. They're approachable. They're willing to talk to anyone who wants to talk to them.
In judging Star, I would have to rate them pretty high. They're standing behind what they said they would do. They are doing the constant upgrading and whatever needs to be done to maintain the system as it is. And they're usually around when you need them. And for a service company, that's pretty much an A+ in my book.
If problems do arise, they are Star's problems, and Star Service will apply the resources to resolve them quickly.
They return my calls immediately.
They're punctual when I call them. They're just a good company to do business with.
Star has never disappointed me. Every time I've called, they've always answered my calls.
Every time that I may have had a problem and called Star concerning this problem, they've been very accommodating.
This dynamic approach not only ends the aging process, but brings costs under control, dramatically improving reliability and comfort. This level of service and quality is guaranteed as long as Star Service maintains the systems. No surprises, excellent service, comfortable environments, a single fixed monthly cost. The in-house workforce freed to perform other critical work for the school, the ability to put the focus back on important educational-related issues.
Their time has been freed up to do other things around the school. And that's very important because we have a very small number of maintenance people at our schools. We don't have to take money out of a contingency fund to fund an air conditioning replacement. And we've had to do that in the past. It will be budgeted and it will be taken care of for one set fee, and we know that our problems will be taken care of.
Having workmen that you can depend on and rely on and that just come in, do their job, and that's it, you know, that means a lot.
If you're interested in a company coming in and looking at your system, you need to give Star a chance, because they're not just any old company coming in saying that. And understand that if they tell you they're going to do it, 99.9% they're going to do it.
With federal and local governments as well as local school boards fighting a losing war on school maintenance, but still convinced that the only solution is more taxpayer money, Jefferson Parish has led the way and developed a partnership solution that provides rehabilitation, repair, and maintenance of these complex systems within existing budgets.
I think Star Service is very dedicated to helping us in Jefferson Parish maintain our HVAC needs, and they're very committed, very committed to doing the best job possible.
I guess the real question is this: if this was a nursing home, if this was, say, my personal home, would I consider Star to be top on the list? And that answer is yes, and highly recommended.
The overall result was an unprecedented level of comfort, reliability, and service.
It's good to have them have a company that will stick to the job and won't just do part of it and leave.
What we had before wasn't working. It was broke and we needed it fixed, and it's fixed now.
The big picture is that if I don't hear any complaints, I know things are going well.
I think Star Service is an answer to a problem that we've had for a long time.
Everyone's been relieved that now things are better. It was our #1 concern. STAR has made a major difference to our school, and that our problems are in the past.
I'd recommend STAR service highly to anyone who really was serious about taking care of the HVAC needs.